In the Elden Ring, there are numerous ways to level up your classes. Every time I begin a new one, I enjoy going for a few runs here and there to strengthen my character and prepare for some of the more difficult obstacles. In general, I oppose mindless farming to acquire levels because it doesn't make sense. To obtain more rooms and higher stats for the difficulties ahead, however, there are certain early techniques and tricks that I can demonstrate to you, as well as several early zones. In this video, we will talk about the quickest way to level up in Elden Ring, max upgrades, tips, and tricks. But before that, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for more amazing content. Let's start the video now without further delay. Well-known locations. There are several well-known locations out there, but since it's so early in the game, my personal favorite is this one that's just adjacent to the Worm Master Shack and close to the starting area. In essence, the entire cliffside to the south of that shack is filled with items to gather that will grant you access to a number of chambers you may use to level up and improve your character's attributes. Naturally, the two things we'll concentrate on the most are going to be the ruined fragments and obviously these large creatures, each of which when defeated will unlock roughly 1,000 chambers. Now, chances are that you won't be able to consistently defeat these foes if you've just started the game. Therefore, in the meanwhile, I advise beginning with the broken pieces. What I enjoy doing is starting the process from here, from one of these buildings, near the eastern edge of the cliff. Simply keep an eye out for anything white shiny on the ground, as that is essentially what you'll be collecting. There are a few such locations in the neighborhood, including one that is immediately behind the hut and has even higher quality shards. So be sure to run that as well and go gradually towards the western edge of the cliff, ignoring any foes for the time being and gathering everything you see within any of these decaying constructions. When you're finished, you can pretty much sell them. Selling fragments. If you sell every one of those fragments as a neighboring vendor, the first one should be the most profitable, with at least 10,000 rooms. The great thing about this is that they also renew, allowing you to go ahead and, with a possible exception of the cemetery, gather everything again and earn extra money. This should eventually provide you with enough money to add some points to your character. Points when you can start thinking about farming the enemies instead, or perhaps even farming the enemy and the fragments simultaneously. Now, defeating these foes will rely on your class, with ranged characters, especially magic classes, clearly having a major advantage because you can just sit on a horse and cast spells from a distance, even stun the foes to make them an easy target. The fact that they totally replenish your flasks when you defeat them, particularly the ones that give you that much needed way, is what's most significant. As a result, you can spam your spells while also consuming the flask, since it will essentially replenish when the adversary dies. Repeat after me. And this is what an average run for me on the mage class, which is the one I'm currently farming, looks like. It's a strong class, no doubt, and I covered all of that in a video that I posted earlier if you want the same staff and skill. With the meteorite staff and the gravity ability, you should certainly test that out. But once you're done with that, you might want to go to something different. Additionally, there are several choices that, depending on your class, may or not be better for you. And how will that happen? Through this Third Church of America, which is located right here on the map's edge. Additionally, not far from the beginning point, but a little bit farther away. Remote portion. Once you get to this place though, just proceed behind the church and through this patch of shrubs towards the lake, because this is where you will find what appears to be a portal that will transport you to a remote portion of the globe. And with that, I'd want to send a big shout out to Power Pigs because they were the first to find this and post about it online, making it an unquestionably valuable location. Now this one is going to be a little bit more dangerous because these adversaries, despite being small, can pretty much one-shot you with one of their abilities, regardless of how much HP you may have. It doesn't necessarily guarantee it will happen, but if you get too close to them, there's a very good chance it will. For this reason, you might want to get anything or a weapon that can either interrupt them or stun them. In this situation, a powerful glimmer attack or even just a heavy melee weapon may do wonders. Now, when there are 15 or 20 of these adversaries in this area, you should expect a significant bump in your runtime, provided of course that you can reliably take them out without dying, which could be a bit more challenging. The fact that these foes do not restore your flasks upon death is another drawback to this region, which is why I kind of avoided going there. However, if you're playing as a melee character or someone who doesn't rely on that, you can simply farm them without any concern. On the other hand, if you're playing as a spellcaster and are concerned about your mana regen, you can simply just fast travel back to that third church again, replenish at the site of grace, and then use the teleporter to come back. Moving on to the next farm, let's speak about upgrading your equipment. The most crucial piece of equipment to upgrade is going to be your weapons, particularly for melee-oriented characters and spellcasters that add melee to their repertoire. And you'll need quite a few smoothing stones, which you may find in some places for that. But the Limgrave tunnels right here on the north side of the main lake, quite close to the beginning location, are by far the nicest one early on. Naturally, this will be a little perilous, but you can kill most of the adversaries quickly and efficiently, and they have a good probability of dropping at least one of the missing stones. There are a couple more rewards in the same location, along with a monster that rewards you with a lovely item. However, those rewards are merely for unlocking the Grace set. Once you're finished, teleport back, reset the battles, and recreate only the foes that are unlike the closest to the surface level because they are all that remain. Going any further could result in your death, the encounter of foes who are a little too strong for you, or simply being overrun. Stick to those, restart the battles, and it shouldn't take you long to accumulate at least 10 to 20, which is sufficient to improve at least a few weapons. This takes us to our last point, which is about improving your flasks. There are quite a few upgrades and tiers that you can find early on in the game, as I've already said. Actually, there are a few areas that feature up to 8 upgrades of your flasks alone, ranging from ordinary tiers to others that grant you unique extra effects. The first two I mentioned you probably already came across at the church I was talking about, along with a Crimson Crystal that can be combined with a Mixology talent to heal you up to half your HP, and the Sacred here that you should seek out nearby. Moving directionally. After that, you should move over to the south of that, very near this tree here, where you'll find a Spiky Crack tier and another effect called Green Spill Crystal tier, both of which will provide you with some pretty intriguing effects. Again, you can combine them to make some incredibly potent potions that not only produce but also offer additional perks. You can access a golden seed by simply moving a little bit south of this to the castle at the same spot. And from this point on, you will absolutely use the additional 3 gold seeds and the 4th one that comes with this one to further boost the amount of flesh you may obtain. Therefore, proceed to the Weeping Peninsula after this. And as I mentioned in the previous video, simply visit these 3 church locations on the map set. The first 2 are intended to be situated respectively in the north and west of this map. The third one meanwhile would be situated on a cliffside as you approach the peninsula's major castle. So be sure to collect that as well. Between all of these, this entails at least 3 new flasks, 2 of which are regular and 1 of which is used in the Mixology. Of course, you may also increase them and make them significantly more powerful due to that hallowed tier. And with regard to the greatest early farms, that's pretty much it. A portal leading to Greyall's Dragon Barrow may be found next to the 3rd Church of Marika, where you obtain the Flask of Wondrous Physique. To put it bluntly, at the beginning of the game, this is a highly difficult location full of creatures that will probably kill you quite quickly. The work is usually worthwhile though, as each opponent you defeat in this location will net you roughly 900 runes. Before moving on to some of the more difficult sections you'll eventually meet a little later in the game, you should definitely stop by this one of Elden Ring's greatest early game farming locations. You can find a helpful site of grace in a hidden cell just before the fight with Godric in Stormvale Castle. There is a troll nearby that is being protected by 2 soldiers. Although it may not seem like it, this is unquestionably one of the best places to harvest runes in Elden Ring's early game. Every time you kill the troll, you'll get roughly 1000 runes, plus a few more if you manage to kill the soldiers. And since the troll is right next to a site of grace, it's pretty simple to just rinse and repeat this encounter as much as you'd like to quickly build up a sizable supply of runes. That's it, guys. If you are currently using another location, please let me know in the comments section. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Share with your friends and families, and jot down your thoughts in the comments section below.